Late this afternoon, in an interview with WCCO, DFL Governor Tim Walz praised the response of the train company CEO.
She stood in that church in front of the press and in front of those folks who were displaced, apologized to the people for this, said they would get to the bottom of it, they will clean up and they will make amends to make this right.
The U.S. Transportation Secretary also says his agency is closely tracking the derailment. Meanwhile, the EPA is monitoring the air throughout the town. The derailment has renewed calls for stronger safety rules to prevent train accidents in the first place. As WCCO's Caroline Cummings explains, the push is gaining backers from the state capitol to Capitol Hill.
At the same time, the derailed train burned Thursday morning. A bill in the works at the state capitol finally dropped, designed to prepare for incidents just like it.
Those crucial moments right after a derailment, that's not the time you want to be like, well, I don't know who's supposed to be doing this.
Senator Rob Kupek co-authored a proposal requiring new training and emergency response planning for rail accidents involving oil or other hazardous materials. Thankfully, the train in Raymond was clear of toxic substances, but that wasn't the case in East Palestine, Ohio last month. This Minnesota bill requires rail carriers notify emergency responders within 15 minutes of spilling dangerous cargo.
So everybody then knows their role should an incident occur. And then if an incident does occur, it also spells out in a little bit more detail what the time frame is and who should be doing what.
I guess I would start with you, Mr. Shaw.
Meanwhile, in Washington, there's growing bipartisan support on Capitol Hill for rail safety legislation there. It requires more regular inspections, advance notice if there's hazardous materials on board, and crews of at least 2 people per train. Senator Amy Klobuchar, who's been pushing for these changes, says she's more optimistic than ever that the bill will pass.
I am so glad that 1, the people are back in their homes, and that 2, we didn't have the toxic chemicals. We should all be breathing a sigh of relief, but we don't know what could happen next. You got to have safe rail lines, and that means having up-to-date standards that reflect what they're carrying right now.
Caroline Cummings, WCCO News.
The Rail Safety Act in Congress also increases fines for safety violations. The bill at the state capitol will get a committee hearing tomorrow. At least 88 train accidents have happened in Minnesota in the last 5 years. 1 person died and another was hurt. Those derailments and crashes also caused more than $13.4 million in damage.